Welcome back to the second segment of the May 28th Trips and Traps. Andy Serling, Eric Donovan.
A few more races to bring you, and we'll start off on the grass where we'd like to be, and this is the 8th race from Sunday. We're looking at the 2 exclusive scheme who's going to get in some trouble shortly after the start, and also the 3 wheels up who is going to get in trouble as a result of elusive scheme in the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, none of us, we're not sure these horses are going to do well the next time they run. We just kind of want to point it out. And there's exclusive scheme already being steadied back here by the rider. And I felt, and I think Eric agrees, that exclusive scheme was just sort of rated into submission the entire way. Now, I'm not saying you want her fighting out in the front end, but in her first turf start, she didn't run that badly, winning that race. Obviously, there weren't such strong horses, but it was a race that made her mildly competitive here, though she was 25-1 in this race. And she just was strangled back, and sort of in front of her, but ending up between horses, is the 2 wheels up, who ends up finishing last, but she gets eliminated, as you're going to say. That's the 3 wheels up. I apologize. Wheels up was a horse also I thought ran okay in her turf debut. Now this, once again, a tougher spot, but she still shows some promise, and I believe that she never had a chance to run when she gets eliminated in the stretch.
No, never has a chance to run, and it's kind of bottled up on hold a little bit in the stretch there, and you see the 2 exclusive schemes still, kind of just stuck down inside and having to be, like you said, rated in a submission. Already had to check once after we showed her coming out of the gate after the break there, and just right here, the pace isn't fast here. They're going 48-2, and the rider's just basically trying to hold her back and keep her down inside here and wait to make one late run. But the problem with this is that the field's going to bunch up. You're going to get some traffic troubles, as we'll see, and then the rider of the 2-horse exclusive scheme just finds himself with nowhere to go here.
Absolutely, and here the field's sort of coming together. It does in these turf races. It's tricky. It's very hard to get position and find room and get out, and that's the art of riding these races. And a lot of times we're dealing with riders that don't have a lot of experience on the course. The 3 wheels up is now in the 2 path in the purplish. Outside, exclusive scheme has gone out. Probably the best move would have been to try to swing wide there and go around horses. She doesn't. Horses close up on her. The hole closes up, and this horse goes in strongly towards the rail, and you see exclusive scheme go in, and wheels up almost gets knocked over.
Yeah, it's almost a very scary incident there in the stretch with both those horses, but that is the problem here when you try to make moves like that around the turn and try to save ground and try to be toward the back of the pack, and just none of these horses can get through. And I'll take a look at the head-on now, and you can see the head-on that the 3-horse wheels up almost goes down here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. This is close here, and you see as exclusive scheme goes over, wheels up almost goes down. And what's interesting is the horse in the pink is the one that shut the hole off on exclusive scheme as they headed into the stretch. The horse in the pink is Frivolous Buck, who loses this race by 2 heads and almost wins it. So you can win from back there if you get in the clear. Now, we're not saying either one of these horses are necessarily going to win. The exclusive scheme, I think, might have had a little bit of run in here. Not sure how good she is, but clearly you have to find your position. You have to learn. It's tough to ride these courses, and these are horses, I don't know where they go from here, but they certainly had no shot in this race.
Yeah, absolutely no chance to run in there at all. Let's get on to our final 2 races, and we'll get on to the dirt for our second to last race, and this one is Brave Tin Soldier, a U.S. debuter for trainer Kieran McLaughlin, race number 5 on May 25th.
Yeah, and Brave Tin Soldier, as a lot of us geniuses figured out, myself included, looked pretty good after finishing 5th in the Godolphin Mile. Was surprisingly 2-1 in here. I thought Eric was right, who made the horse 8-5 morning line, that he'd probably be a heavy favorite. But what worked against him, and really worked against him in the race, was this was just an absolute crawl fest in front. And Brave Tin Soldier gets bounced around a little at the start, might have hit the gate, and ends up back in last, and they're crawling up front. Dr.
W setting his own pace up front, 23-1 the quarter for the fraction for the quarter, 46 flat for the half mile. So Dr. W, who if you watch races throughout the winter, know he's a pretty salty New York bred when he gets on the lead and can do his own thing and has things his own way. He can be pretty tough, and he's certainly getting things his own way here. While the number 4 Dancing Tin Man has a lot to do and is going to have to lose ground around the turn as well.
Right, and actually this was actually Monday's races, and I thought Inside Speed was good on Monday, and this is a classic example. And Brave Tin Soldiers commenced his rally from the back of the pack, trying to circle horses. Good luck to him. They came home in 36-2. He wasn't going to beat the horse in the front end, and this is a classic example of how much easier it is to wire races on the dirt at 7 furlongs than 6. At 7, people go, oh, it's 7 furlongs. It's not really a sprint, and some speed horse gets away with a slow pace you're seeing here. And of course, the second place finisher sat right behind. That was the last wave. Ran okay and just missed in here. But I think that horse is at least close to the pace. And Brave Tin Soldier back to last behind this crawl fast. What chance did he have?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The 7 furlong races play so much differently than 6 furlong races. When horses wire at 6 furlongs, they're usually the fastest horse. When horses wire at 7, it can be a result of tactics much more so.
Yeah, no question about it. It's that sneaky thing of looking for a speed horse in a 7 furlong race with no speed. Now, it's not to say you won't have a 7 furlong race with a vicious pace and it'll fall apart also, but this was a classic example of, essentially, I don't even think it was a 5 furlong sprint with an advantage after the first quarter. I think the half and 46 flat, it was a 3 furlong sprint with an advantage.
From the top of the stretch home, pretty much. One more race to show you, and this was a turf race from Monday, race number 8. We're looking at the Mark of Love. This is a claiming race, and Mark of Love is probably some trouble that a lot of people saw in this race, but we figured we'd do it again because he really does get stopped in this spot here, and the fact that he's going to finish in the middle of the pack might help his price next time out.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. A couple of people sent me emails about this horse. You're going to do Mark of Love, so everybody's on it. But Mark of Love's a horse that had some one huge turf race for David Jacobson. I think first time for David Jacobson here last year, and then ran some decent races. A couple of races would have won this. Came back in Florida, finished 10th in a race down there. And Mark of Love has now settled back to about 5th in here. In that race in Florida, the horse was 10th, but I never felt he had a fair chance to run in there. But I couldn't tell, somewhat like this one, how much horse he had. But of course, in this race, I don't know what's going on. He's bottled up in the stretch. He steadies badly, but I don't quite get why.
Yeah, it could have been just a scenario here of just being in that bad spot of being just trapped down inside here. He's got 2 horses in front of him, one to the outside. There's really no way you're going to be able to take back and get out without having to worry about affecting other horses here. You just hope that you can fit through the horse on the rail. Maybe the horse in the lead maybe stays on the rail, and you can kind of work your way through in between horses here. But that doesn't happen for Mark of Love, and Mark of Love's just going to get completely shut off in the stretch.
Yeah, maybe it's just a question like, here, I thought he had room. Even watching the head-on, I wasn't sure he didn't really have room. Now, maybe it gets tight there, but I'm not so sure this horse wanted to go through on the inside. And this is why, like when we talked about that horse earlier, the class of 63, some of these horses just don't want to go through or move on the inside. And now Castellano's gotten him out a path up the rail, and he's doing some running, but he has no room, and he can barely even ride him. He certainly didn't have a fair chance in here.
I thought this was a very competitive race on paper. I thought there were about 4 of them that looked pretty good in the race, and Mark of Love was certainly one of them there. So I'd have to give him another shot next time out.
I just not, my problem is, let's say he's in this race with the same field, effectively, and he's 8-5 suddenly.
Then I don't want him.
Then I don't want him either, because there's this feeling, people just sort of go crazy for these things. I'm not saying he might not have won here, but if he won this race, he might have done it with a perfect trip. I just think you need to look at where he is and what kind of price he is. He's an include probably in multis, but I have a feeling his odds are going to make him a bet against.
Well, if he's over bet, certainly because of that trouble that everyone saw, then you don't want to be on board.
Right, especially when it's trouble with horses that are saving ground, sitting in good trips during the race, and they have the trouble. It's different when they're bigger prices, or maybe they were never in position. This horse was in position, not saying he wouldn't have won, but I just don't know if he's a bet going forward.
All right, that'll do it for our second episode here of Trips and Traps. Keep in mind that you can find all kinds of great information on the Belmont Stakes on the Belmont Stakes website, www.belmontstakes.com. We will not be filming a Trips and Traps episode next week, so the week after that we'll have about a gazillion races to look through, and maybe we'll do 5 segments. Who knows?
Who knows? We could do so many segments we won't be able to do the rest of our jobs. Be a favor for everybody else. But thanks for watching. Go to the Belmont Stakes website. There's a lot of good stuff there, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.